Hey, it's Brie Bagwell from Only Vans. I'm so excited to share this episode, even though I was a tad nervous, and you can tell by the way I talk really too fast. Or was it the wine that we were drinking before noon? Anyway, in this episode, I talked to one of the owners of one of my absolute favorite wineries from William Chris Vineyards, Chris Brundrett. I've never spoken to or met this man, and I usually talk on this podcast about music, so this was really branching out for me. I love their wine, and I'm also a huge fan of what they stand for. It'll be so fun in 100 or 500 years to look back, or for other people to look back at this episode, where I'm talking to someone who has been a true pioneer for the Texas wine industry. Chris has worked really hard to authentically label Texas wines and make the laws in our state require transparency, which I do a pretty bad job at explaining, but Chris does a great job clarifying. I really do think it's fascinating that Chris wanted to learn about winemaking before he was even 21 and detailed his journey into finding his true passion in life, and he's a really intelligent and approachable dude. Sorry, I thought horticulture was the study of horses, and I didn't know what entomology was either. We get into William Chris Wine Club, which is a subscription where you will receive 6 special releases per year and will also have the first option to purchase any new wines as soon as they are bottled. You can look into that, especially because he said they have open spots, which is rare, at williamchriswines.com. But definitely go see the gorgeous tasting room when you're in the Texas Hill Country area. Thanks to Chris and his team for giving us 2 really fancy wine glasses and 2 incredible bottles of wine and a tour. What a great day. And lastly, sorry about the A&M loss to UT, Chris. I couldn't resist. Hey there, this is Brie Bagwell with Only Vans, and we all know that vinyls are back, baby. Well, they have been for a long time, actually, and my friends at Hand Drawn Pressing have got you covered. They just finished up a reprint of my vinyls, and they really walk you through the entire process. I picked out a different vinyl color for this run, and they're red and black. Oh my gosh. They offer so many color options, and you can also put in inserts in the vinyl jackets or download cards. They can make your customized vinyl dreams come true. They pay for themselves so quickly, it's insane, and their turnaround time is quite impressive, if I do say so myself. Also, they were at my show the other day, like we're friends in real life. How cool is that? They're a Texas-based independent plant helping artists help themselves. Get your vinyl manufactured in the USA by my friends at Hand Drawn Pressing. You won't regret it. Tell them Brie and Whiskey sent you. Go to handdrawnpressing.com for all the info and check out their awesome content on Instagram. Their handle is at handdrawnrecords. So if you are able to make a really amazing product here, that's an incredible feat.
Yeah.
Like, that is so amazing. And if anyone's trying to pull some trickery around here, we ain't got time for it.
I agree. And look, I don't want to throw shade on the few wineries that were vehemently against it, because they're good companies, they're good people, right? But man, it drew a huge line in the sand, and it really was disheartening for those guys, in my opinion, just to fight against authenticity in such a passionate way. And they put, they were kind of this ultra conservative, don't tread on me type stuff. And I'm like, man, and I'm generally a conservative person on some things and very liberal on others. But I was just like, are we really arguing about authenticity?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many, there's a couple of key folks that were just like, well, if I had to label where my grapes come from, I don't know if people would buy it. And I was like, man, you should think about that for a little bit.
Hey, everybody, this is Brie Bagwell, and this is my podcast, Only Vans, where I talk to my friends in my van.
By the end of 07 harvest, I was pretty kind of disenfranchised with the whole wine scene in Texas. I thought I had made a mistake coming here. There wasn't a heck of a lot of intention in a lot of the wine and grape production. And there was a AgriLife Extension Day in right north of Fredericksburg at Granite Hill Vineyards. And Bill was the vineyard manager there. And he was I remember like it was yesterday, pulling in the vineyard, every vine was absolutely perfect. We tasted some of his wines that were so soulful and so beautiful, and they were selling 98% of the fruit out of that vineyard, and he was making just a small amount. And I remember like leaving there and I was like, I need to know this guy in a better way.
As your person.
Yeah. And he and I had a very good mutual friend, Louis Dixon, who owns another winery called Lake Cruz de Camao, that was a really great mutual friend, and he was a bit of a matchmaker and got us together, and
I love that.
The rest is history.
That's great because you studied. I mean, to me, I think when I think about my life's evolution of alcohol, you know, it was like now I'm obviously in the back half of my 30s very interested in wine, and I love it so much. But
Sure.
it wasn't something that I knew that I wanted to do at an early age. So it's like amazing that you kind of like had an interest in it and went to college, right? You went to A&M. I'm not going to tell you where I went to school because I want us to be friends.
That's okay. If you went to the Texas University, it's okay. I'll forgive you.
Here we go. Kyle's named after Kyle Field.
Oh,
We're
nice.
balancing it out over here.
Well, we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I know. Ooh, we got to air this.
Yeah.
That's why we pushed for it to be this
Oh,
week.
perfect.
Yeah.
The showdown.
Yeah, the showdown. Which I'm so thankful that's happening again.
Oh, me too.
That was our whole, it was so exciting. And that's how it should be. And I'm from New Mexico. I don't know if you know that, but I got into UT and I got there and we don't have that kind of rivalry in New Mexico. So
it's real.
I was like, what is happening here? And why do these people hate me? I don't even know them. So I like everyone to be friends, especially as a musician. We like it.
For
And
sure,
a winemaker,
100%.
We can all drink wine and listen to music no
I'm
matter what
bringing
school.
half of my UT friends to come to the game with me on Saturday.
Amazing.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Good. I love that. But you studied horticulture, which I thought was
It's
the study
a
of
double
horses.
major, entomology and horticulture, with an emphasis on grape and wine production. I was a lost little puppy. I was a dropout of the United States Merchant Marine Academy. I went there playing football and made it like a month or a month and a half and dropped out. And my dad was a Delta Force helicopter pilot, and
Awesome.
I didn't tell my parents that I was coming home. And I remember like I just flew in and my gear was on the front porch, and like my dad said like a few words. He just walked in and was like, couldn't hack it. Don't unpack your shit. And I was like, Roger that. And like I like called Texas A&M and was like, hey, can I still come? Because you start so much earlier at the academies.
Right.
And so I literally packed up my truck and drove to College Station and on Sunday and started school on Monday. And I remember like had no idea. I thought I was gonna be a shipboat captain or a pilot. And my dad, I called out on Thanksgiving or right before Thanksgiving, and I was like, hey man, how are you? Is mom there? And he was like, no, I can't believe you're able to call me. How's your new outfit? Like thinking I joined the Corps.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, Dad, I joined a fraternity. It was like click, so it's kind of like he and I are super close now, but it was rough going. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was putting myself through college in the restaurant business, and I'd always loved food. Thought very strongly about going to culinary school. I love to cook. And I'm so grateful that I found wine, because I was an entomology major, really just because I was like kind of stoned in entomology class one day and was like, this sounds cool, and just was like signed up for entomology.
As we do.
Had no idea. Like I remember in the middle of this summer internship, and I was working for this entomologist, and I was like the low man on the totem pole, and I was the tent guy. So we had like 50 tents, and my job was to harvest all the grass and bag them individually, and then there was lace wings in the grass, right? And then what would happen is I'd bring the bags tagged back to the graduate students, and they'd like comb through the grass, and I had no idea what we were doing. I just knew that was my job. And towards the end of the summer, there was like everybody was hooting and hollering and screaming and yelling, and like the professor ran in and he like popped some champagne, and I was like, what is going on? And we had got a lace wing. You know what a lace wing is? Like it's a little bug, but we had got it to produce 15 or 16 lobes instead of 15 lobes in its wing venation. And I was like, I gotta get the heck out of here. Like, this is not for me.
Okay, good, because everything, you lost me. There's like 8 words that you said that I definitely didn't know. I was like, what kind of grass are we talking about here? Got it. Okay.
Well, I'm just grateful I found wine shortly after that, and I'd come down to the Hill Country because somebody told me there was wine in the Hill Country, and like 4 or 5 wineries, and my girlfriend and I came and stayed at a crappy motel. I went to all 4 wineries. I wasn't even 21 yet, and a guy was really gracious with his time. He took me in the back, showed us all the tanks and all the barrels, and like it hit me like a lightning bolt and was like, you should quit partying so much and do something with your life, and this is that thing. And I literally
now you just party it.
Yeah.
We're still partying.
Yeah, it's only 12:45, you know, no big deal. Yeah,
that's amazing. So my boyfriend, I'm sure I'm going to bring up him a lot, but he's a musician too, but he has that same kind of just, I think one time on here I accidentally said wine snob, which is something I would never call my boyfriend. He's like a wine aficionado. He's like, he just loves it. He's so passionate about it.
Sure.
And his whole dream is to open up he wants to plant grapes in the Davis Mountains, and he
cool.
loves, that's what he wants to do so bad. And so he's building our house right now, like actually with his own 2 hands with a drywall guy today. So yeah, so he's highly upset that he's not here. So now that he's going to be hearing and seeing us that we were drinking wine too, he's going to just be so sad. But thank you for bringing the wine. That was so kind. And the first time that I ever came to William Chris, I met a lady. Her name's Grayson Stokes. I don't know. I think she's a wine club member here, but I had gone through a breakup and she had come to a show. And she was just a fan, kind of, and now she's one of my really close friends. But she said, let's go to Fredericksburg tomorrow. And I was kind of like, didn't know much about wine. And this is the first place she brought me to. And we sat under the trees, and she brought a speaker, and I played her my new demos that I had just recorded at Sony. And
that's so cool.
I mean, let's not like encourage people to bring Bluetooth speakers to your.
Well, no, we're pretty laid back around here.
But I remember just being like blown away by the things that. The tasting room people were so kind and so knowledgeable, and wine was even more back then. I thought that there was such a barrier to entry.
Sure.
But there's not. Like, people they want to explain wine to you. And also the first thing that the lady said to me was, you like what you like.
That's right.
And I loved that. And I will never forget that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like the wine industry is evolving so much better and so much faster today than it was 10 years ago. But you know, it sometimes slips into that elitist, thing that it doesn't need to be. And I feel like that's why I'm so passionate about the Texas wine industry, because I feel like, everywhere in Texas, we have some amazing hospitality, and we're not worried if you've been drinking wine for 25 years or you decided to, put down your Dr. Pepper for the first time and try wine. Like, we're happy to have you either way. And I feel like wine is like such a great part of your connective tissue with the community. I mean, I see people that are 20, 40, 60, 70 years old, and when you can see them make that connection between where their food comes from, and the farmers that grow it, and that is such an amazing gift that we can give to people, and you can do that in wine, and that's like that bridge to when you start hearing the stories about where the wine comes from and the people that grow it and the passionate folks that make it all happen. It's and then you can share it with your family and friends. Like, and how many times do you get together with your friends and you have that like, oh, where's your next vacation, which is fine, but like wine encourages you to like go a little deeper sometimes. Like, hey, how was your day? What was the best part?
Yeah.
What was the worst part of your day?
Let me tell you a secret. That's what wine makes me do.
Yeah, so, right. It opens up the door just a little bit.
100%. And I mean, not to open this door, but I am curious to talk to you about it, because I don't know when it was exactly, but I remember telling my boyfriend, like, man, there's been this explosion of Texas wine, and this doesn't make sense to me because this is not the grape that would. And then he was explaining to me that the label, even though it was like Texas red, and then it's like for sale only in Texas, like the label was misleading me. And if he wouldn't have pointed that out to me, then I wouldn't know. And I kind of, this had kind of just happened when we were talking about trying to get y'all on the podcast. And then I
researched, you are actually like kind of passionate about that, right? Is that like, I feel like...
Who told you?
I know, you told me,
Yeah.
which was cool. So I don't even know if you even want to get into that, but I would love for you to kind of give a synopsis better than I did. I didn't do a great job.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, it's 6.5 years of my life that I'll never get back again. It was a really challenging time in my life because, so let's, we'll backtrack a little bit and look at exactly what are we talking about. Like, so 95% or 96% of domestic wine, i.e. wine sold in the United States, is by California, Oregon, Washington, New York. All those states have changed their state laws to protect appellation, to protect sense of place, and defend outside forces of their grape growers, and so basically when it says Napa Valley, it has to be 100% from California and 90% or 85% from Napa Valley, right?
Right.
Same thing in Willamette Valley, it has to be 100% Oregon. Well, in Texas,
100%, wow.
Yeah, and 100%, or in Texas, previous to the law change, if you put like that says Uplift Vineyard on it, right? It would have to be 95% from Uplift Vineyard, but it could be 5% from Argentina. It could be from Chile, right? And I just felt like that was, while it was legal, I felt that was misleading to the consumer. And I'll tell you that, like, if I take wine from this site right here, we're sitting at the High Estate Vineyard, and I take 5% from 30 minutes north of here and blend it in, it significantly changes the wine.
Right.
And I want to defend what our growers are doing. And we farm a ton of grapes, so I wanted to defend our best interests as well, and also give our state an opportunity to put us in a world-class position. We want to be able to compete with anybody in the world, and we're finally doing that now. And so we lobbied and advocated to our state legislators to create a law that if you used a vineyard name, if you used an AVA like Texas Hill Country or Texas High Plains or a county designation, it had to be 100% Texas grown.
That's amazing. And I think the reason that it's so important is because, I mean, we have listeners from all over, but I think everybody in the entire world knows Texas is extremely hot and humid. So if you are able to make a really amazing product here, that's an incredible feat.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. And if anyone's trying to pull some trickery around here, we ain't got time for it.
I agree. And look, I don't want to throw shade on the few wineries that were vehemently against it, because they're good companies, they're good people, right? But man, it drew a huge line in the sand, and it really was disheartening for those guys, in my opinion, just to fight against authenticity in such a passionate way. And they put, they were kind of this ultra conservative, don't tread on me type stuff. And I'm like, man, and I'm generally a conservative person on some things and very liberal on others, but I was just like, are we really arguing about authenticity? And I can't tell you how many, there's a couple of key folks that were just like, well, if I had to label where my grapes come from, I don't know if people would buy it. And I was like, man, you should think about that for a little bit. If that's not good, man. Be your best self. And is that the version of your best self and the company that you want to represent? And that just, spiraled into a lot of other, values discussions, which, I have my values, and I felt like it was really important to fight for them and to fight for our growers. And, hopefully my kids see the benefit. That's
another thing I was going to say, as a dad or as a businessman, I mean, that's a great thing.
Hey, this is Bree Bagwell, and if you want to listen to this podcast early and ad-free, subscribe to my Patreon at www.patreon.com/Bree Bagwell.
Are you ready to take your merchandise to the next level? Well, just ask me who I use, and that is CH Lone Star Promo. They specialize in screen printing and direct-to-garment, embroidery, laser engraving, anything promo related, they can do it. Step up your merch game now with CH Lone Star Promo and tell them Bree and Whiskey sent you.
Because this what you're portraying, it's very Texas. It's very classy Texas. It's very authentic. It's very hands-on. Everything that you guys like when you get on y'all's website, there's like a cowboy chat guy that pops up. You
Cowboy
know?
Cody.
But you're not. That's I think the problem that I had with it was I was feeling like somebody was capitalizing on something and then fighting against. You said it way better, but it's.
Well, just because you put a picture of a longhorn on a label, doesn't mean it's from Texas. And it's like what we're trying to do with direct consumer, agro-tourism is like get to know your producer and ask those questions. And I'm so grateful now that the industry has changed so much. I mean, we are shining our light bright by getting really high ratings and really high scores and great awards and putting attention on the Texas High Plains and the Texas Hill Country. So people walk in and they go, hey, I really like Texas High Plains Morvet, or I really like Llano Uplift Morvet. Do you have any of that? And we're like, it's working.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And I'm so glad you asked.
That's amazing. I mean, I think that there's such a parallel too I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but Texas country music was kind of like this organic, like small thing. And then to see somebody like Cody Johnson go and take it, big, and we're so proud of that. And now there's a lot of people that are coming in that are flooding the market, but not really. But I'm just saying there's a lot more people that want to do it because it is a very cool thing. But we're also happy that it's gaining popularity, especially when it's such a quality product or whatever.
Oh,
it's like,
I couldn't agree more.
I love that. I remember this just sparked a memory. I played a show with Ray Wiley Hubbard in Levelland. Like
no
when I first
way.
moved, like when I first started playing music, and it was a wine taste. They had like the wine tasting thing there, and I remember my band. It was like 2 hours before the show, and they had all came up to me, and I'm like, oh no.
They're all drunk on wine.
No more wine tasting. Like, this is not like beer. It was so funny because we were all just, whoa. And I just had no idea that existed, and now it's gotten, like you said, so much, everyone kind of knows that.
Yeah.
Like Texas High Plains, like everyone knows.
Yeah.
That's, so I'm proud of you
Thank
for that.
you.
Is your wine club maxed out?
Actually, at this moment, we have a little bit of space. So we closed our wine club and we're on a waiting list for about 4.5 or 5 years, because it's all inventory dependent, and because we're not just like growing our business.
Right.
Sounds weird to say that, but like not at William Chris Vineyards. So, we had a very tight 20 and 21 vintage. They're very high quality, but it was very, very tight on the production. And so we knew that I'm not going to just go buy bulk wine so I can make it work.
Yeah.
We just said, hey, we'll just reduce the amount of wine we're selling because I want the best of the best of the best. We have a lot of trust and rapport and believability with our fans, and that is incredibly meaningful to 126 families that are this company. And it was important to me to, hey, we got to shut down close the wine club. So I think we have maybe like 100 or 200 spots open right now, which probably be for the next couple of months. It will be open, and it's all inventory dependent. So
That's
we just
incredible.
We got to look 2 years out all the time.
Yeah, I can't imagine me being like, my wine club, my fan club is full currently.
no, our fan club is very much not full.
Fan club and wine club is different. Yeah,
we want everybody again. But yeah,
Infinite.
It's tough because we really do want everybody to come. It's like doesn't mean the tasting room's closed or anything like that, and quite frankly, like all the waiting list means is like sometimes you have to wait like 3 months or 2 months until we have a spot open up.
That's so fun. You have 126 employees.
Mm-hmm.
That is so many.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I know that you're killing it, and that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Good for you. I haven't been. You were adding on last time I was here. There was some new additions happening. So what all do you have now besides the tasting room? You have all kinds of stuff around.
So we farm all over the place. I mean, this is just one of our farms. We farm Uplift Vineyards just north of here. We have Lost Straw right down the street. Skeleton Key, Wine for the People, Grower Project, Sway Rosé. I mean, our portfolio is pretty vast. And we have another tasting room up in Kingsland at that farm called Uplift.
Right.
And then, of course, a whole other tasting room in Fredericksburg called Wine for the People, which is awesome. I only make the wine here with Tony, the Uplift wine, or the William Chris and Skeleton Key, and then I for lack of a better term, coach or mentor our other
Yeah.
winemakers. They're pretty stacked. They know what they're doing, but I just get to help out every now and
You're
then.
also dad of two.
Yeah.
2 girls.
June and Tessa Caroline, 10 and 13. So.
Well, it was very funny when you came on here and you said your daughter was a little mortified you were going on OnlyFans.
Yeah, she's so responsible, and like my wife is our executive assistant, and she does an amazing job. So she uploads our calendars, to everywhere or whatever. In June, my 13-year-old, she was looking. We were traveling in Dallas yesterday, and it was awesome. We had such a great day. She was just like hanging out with her dad selling wine, which was so fun. Yeah, and then we were on the way home, and she looked at my phone, or she looked at her phone, and she was like, "Dad, you have you have an OnlyFans appointment tomorrow?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I just have one-on-ones." And then I looked, and she's like, "Do you know what OnlyFans is?" And I was like, yes, I don't think it's an OnlyFans. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, and then my wife had put like a little description there. I was like, oh, a podcast, this.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I was like, I think it's a podcast. And she's like, well, I don't know if you know what OnlyFans is, Dad, but I don't think that's what you want.
I have gotten some odd feet picture requests to my agent. Like my new agent, I've been with him since March, but he doesn't have as many girls. He has like Reckless Kelly and dudes. And then he's like, what is happening here? And it's, people requesting or sending pictures of my feet that they'll sneak in or whatever. And I thought it would be funny. OnlyFans if I ever came in. I love Lucy the grapes. We could probably fund a new RV.
Yeah. Hey, smoke them if you got them, man. I mean,
no, I'm kidding.
I mean, foot pics. What's the harm in that, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, there's a few things maybe, but
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I told Kyle, I was like, I think it's like Josh Abbott playing a joke on me, like to see if I'll do it. Like it's like someone we know being like, let's see if she's that desperate. Maybe not. I don't know about that. But I will also say one thing, because I know we're probably getting close on time. But I loved what you said about, because Texas weather is so crazy and all the challenges of farming. And my family are pecan farmers down in southern New Mexico.
Oh, no way.
And green chili farmers. So,
Where?
Las Cruces.
I know. Oh, cool.
Who do you know there?
Do you know Jay Hill?
Oh gosh, what if I do know Jay Hill and he's listening to this and he's like, we've been friends since 8th grade. Not.
Yeah, he grew up in Cruces.
Okay.
And he's a pecan guy and hay guy, onion farmer. He has a winery there. Anyway.
Okay. Well, I'm
he's a
sure
good
that
friend
I
for a
know
long
him.
time.
Oh my gosh, we might have to cut this part
He had a
out.
podcast for a while and was like a big farmer in Del City for years.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Had a gajillion followers on Instagram.
Okay, well, I need to go figure this guy out, because maybe
I think he's gone dark on the old Instagram, but he's still out there. He's still out there grinding.
He
so
might
shout
be my
out to Jay Hill.
Yeah, shout out. He might be my family's direct competitor with
Oh,
pecans
maybe.
and chili. Maybe that's why I don't know him.
I know they do pecan. They have a couple of big pecan orchards. When I say big, like, people are like, "Oh, you only farm 300 acres of grapes." I'm like, that's a shitload, man. So I don't know the context of like acreage in pecans, but it seems like driving by them, I'm like, man, it seems like
Well, it doesn't take a genius to be like, well, a tree is a little bigger than a vine.
Yeah,
It's a little different there. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm gonna go look that up, but I'm gonna definitely bring you some green chili, because I feel really bad that I was gonna buy some wine and then you just came storming in two bottles with your amazing team. Oh yeah, let's have some more. And the last thing I want to say is that you said something. I got my lipstick all over that.
That's all right.
Okay, this is different than that.
Yes, it is.
I didn't even look at the label. What do we have?
Enchanté.
Oh, Enchanté. This has been around. I know that name.
This is a flagship wine. Yeah, this is our first wine we ever made in 2008.
Wow.
That is not from 2008. That one.
Yeah.
That one is from 2021. That actually just got 94 points at Decanter, I believe. Like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's one of the highest rated wines in Texas. So.
Yeah, you like what you like, but if you don't like this, you're dumb.
Yeah,
that's my new William Chris slogan. Okay, I keep saying the last thing.
Idiot.
Yeah, goodbye. But you said that growing grapes in this climate, everyone said, "Oh, what a challenge! What a challenge!" And you said that was exciting to you versus challenging to you. And I think that's exactly how I feel. I don't know if I just messed up your quote, but that's how I feel about the music business. People are like, "Good luck," and you're kind of like, "Hey, let me try to do something great and see it as exciting versus difficult.
Absolutely. It's all about mindset, man. And I feel like, if fear ruled you, a lot of bad shit can happen growing grapes. And, you can get hit by a car too, Like I try very, very hard to like just always have the most positive mindset. I mean, somebody just yesterday was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it with like 2 kids and like farming everything you do and 126 employees. And I'm like, the pressure is a privilege, man. Like I get to, are you kidding me? Yeah. Are there days that I'm like curled up under my desk, scared shitless? Yeah. Those moments are real, right? But there's so many more moments that are so beautiful and so amazing. Like I get to share a piece of our world, like all over the world. I mean, this wine is sold in Japan. How cool is that? Like there's people, like somebody just sent me a picture on Instagram yesterday of like a menu and they're like, holy shit, William Chris is on a menu in Tokyo. And I'm like, oh man, like
that's incredible.
Yeah. And
wow.
People like send me all these amazing texts of like, we get to be there for people's best days and worst days. And they'll send me pictures like, I was just telling somebody, some magazine the other day, they're like, oh, you got this award, blah, 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 blah. How does that make you feel? I'm like, that's cool. But you know how cool it is when somebody like sends you a picture and like, man, we had this really tough day, but I opened a bottle of your wine and my wife and I just sat and we were able to take a breath and remember all the amazing times we've had, or the opposite when somebody's like, man, Thanksgiving Day, we saved, look at our lineup, with your wine. And I'm like, holy shit, we get to be there for these special moments and people get to remember these moments that were created at William Chris, or they get to bring this wine in their home and share it with their family and friends because it's something that they think is so special. Like, how awesome is that? And like, shame on me if I think that this is hard. Like I get, it is hard, but great things are hard. And things that move the needle and make people better is hard. We get to provide 401ks and match, platinum health insurance for 126 families. That's impact.
Are you hiring? I don't have any of those. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I didn't write down your awards. Your team is so awesome. They sent them, and I was like, if you feel like you want to say some of them, I would love that. But I think you're inspiring as a person and an entrepreneur, and it's I really enjoyed chatting with you. And I'm gonna pop a bottle of William Chris when UT beats A&M on Saturday.
God, no. You're killing me.
I know, I'm just kidding. Well,
man.
Thank you for being here and anything.
I'm going to drink 2 bottles whenever A&M beats the hell out of UT.
We'll see about that.
We're really pissed off about this weekend of losing so badly, so get ready.
Well, we lost to Georgia, so let's not talk about it. Let's not bring it up. But thank you so much. You guys check out William Chris. You can chat with their Cowboy Chat but come to the tasting room. It's gorgeous and incredible employees that really want to help you understand the wine and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Check us out on Instagram, William Chris Vineyards, on Facebook. You can follow me, IGHYETX. Thank you guys for coming out and sharing a piece of our world with your audience. And wine is so great. Come out and see us. Come out and visit.
Of course, tell your daughter I'm sorry.
Yeah.